everybody, how you doing? I know that my video upload schedule has not exactly been much of a schedule lately, so I've been just kind of doing it as and when I feel like that I can, so but it's very nice to see all of your amazing comments which you still leave me even if I haven't uploaded in a week or two or even a month. So yeah, it's really nice to just it's really cool to see that you guys are still there. So it's every day there's more and more people uploading more and more stuff to YouTube. I think that the number of artists, if you want to call ASM artists or anybody else joining anybody joining YouTube is growing at an incredible rate. So you're always going to be finding yourself every day more and more buried, you know, and all of you are undoubtedly subscribed to many different channels, including mine, of course, I hope. And if not, that's okay. I had to trim down the number of channels that I am subscribed to as well, because you just can't really keep up with it all, and there's so many great channels out there, so many great artists that I look up to and take inspiration from, and yeah, it can be difficult because you grow and then you don't grow and then you plateau and then you go backwards and then you grow a little bit, and I think I've come to terms with the idea that, you know, the stuff I do and what I do is liked by enough people that it makes me happy. And even if I throw in the odd non-ASMR skit here and there, you seem to like it, so thank you for that. I really didn't have any plans, as I often do or don't, right before I film a video. Kids are in bed, the house seemed relatively quiet, and I'm finding myself feeling awake enough to record. Actually, you know what it was? I was just watching ASMR Shortbread's latest video, and for some reason I just felt like I need to make a video. I need to make a video too. So you can thank ASMR Shortbread for this upload tonight. I don't know exactly why it made me want to make this little spontaneous video, but it did. So here we are. And I actually quite like these videos sometimes because I have absolutely no idea what I am going to talk about. I tend to just make it all up as I go along, as you know, so I'm currently wearing my Hearts shirt, which I'm sure a lot of people in Scotland will like and a lot of people will not like. If you are a big football fan, or soccer as they call it elsewhere, this is one of two teams from my hometown. The other team shall mostly just grunting sounds that describe them. So, okay, I'll try not to be too cheeky. But yeah, wearing this tonight, I don't know why, no particular reason. And the truth be told, I'm not a football fan at all. Other members of my family are, and this is where I get this from. So, and I think it's cool because walking around Canada with one of these on is pretty unusual. So you get, it's a good conversation starter. I like to wear things like that. I feel like there's a kind of unwritten rule that if you get a shirt from a place which is tied to a place like university or a football team, or I don't know, a certain product or something that's from a certain country, it's more interesting to wear it outside of that country than it is inside that country. I mean, maybe everybody knows that, but it certainly seems to be the case, right? Because people look at it and they're like, what's that? What is that? I don't recognize. Is that a soccer team? Is that like a, what is it? And it's cool, and you can have a wee conversation about it. So that's my logic on that one. It's been quite an interesting week where I live. It's been really hot, and we had a bunch of forest fires burning across the province, which was a bit unnerving. So I'm really, for the first time in a long time, actually wanting rain, because I don't really love the rain. You can't do much in rain, especially when you've got wee kids, right? Those of you who've got young children will know that if it's snowing, it's awesome. If it's summer, it's awesome. But when it's raining, oh man, it's stuck inside. I mean, you can play in the rain for a wee while, but not long, right? I think it's a bit much, so. But yeah, it's been dry as a bone round here, which has been a wee bit concerning. The fire service and the helicopters with the buckets scooping water out of the lakes, they've all been working overtime. So, and we live quite close to a sort of forested area, so been like getting the hose and keeping everything wet, which is probably kind of a vain attempt at, you know, I don't know how much help that would be, but it makes it feel as though you're doing something, and also just clearing away anything near the house that might be combustible. So hopefully we won't be seeing any more of those. But yeah, it's been, today was, at our place went up to about 32 degrees, and they said it was going to be a high of 20 today, and then it turned out to be 27, and at our place it turned out to be 32. So that, for the end of May, that is a lot. That's really hot. I'm hoping June's going to cool down a wee bit, and then July, August, September is when I call it, I suppose I consider it the real Nova Scotia summer, and I really enjoy that. And it looks like with all this lockdown stuff coming to an end, that we are going to be reopening shops and pubs and that in the next 2 weeks. So I'll be interested to see how that works out. We've so far been very, very lucky in that we didn't have that many cases, and they were all sort of confined to a specific, like, care home, which was really sad. But and I think there's less than 1 million people live here, and our borders are closed with the rest of Canada. For those of you in countries that are not federalised. You might find that a bit strange, like the UK and all that. I mean, you're locked down, but you can still drive between places, right? I mean, businesses, trucks and that. Yeah, they can too, but it's a lot more restricted, and each area actually has like checkpoints and stuff like that, ferries and road barriers and stuff, like make sure that you're legit. So at least I think they all do. This is a ramble, so if I start slavering and talking a load of pish, then that's kind of the point. But yeah, it looks like things are going to be reopening here the next couple of weeks, which is good, you know, as long as it's careful, because obviously we don't want to endanger anybody's lives. I think it's a good timing too, anyway, because the schools aren't going back until at least September, so kids are going to be out all summer anyway, so there's going to be a lot of time to maintain that kind of distance, although I think daycares are planning to reopen, which could be a bit of an issue because those places are like a petri dish at the best of times. Since I moved to Canada, and I've got 2 wee kids, I swear I have had every stomach bug, every cold, every virus that's been going around ends up coming home with my kids. Because, yeah, between school and daycare, other parents coming and going, everybody rushing around, you just know that, well, until now, maybe hand washing, maybe surface wiping, maybe car doors, everything's been a wee bit greasy, you know. I think as a parent of young kids, things tend to be a wee bit greasy around the edges anyway, so and that's okay if it's at home. I mean, to a certain extent, you know, as long as you keep things hygienic as you possibly can. But the minute you step outside the home, you know, your lunch boxes, your utensils, even their books and stuff like that, you know, I mean, you've got there's plastics, there's backpacks. I mean, it's not like they're going to wipe down every wee thing, but I guess just the kids have been well trained now. They've been so used to this washing the hands and hand sanitizer and all that. It's been I mean, they're better at it than I am, you know. One thing about kids, which I love and I don't take advantage of enough, is that they are incredibly adaptable. They can learn things very, very quickly, even though it might seem like a chore to teach them that, and they never bloody listen, and all the typical you know, cliches about parents pulling their hair out because their kids don't listen. All that stuff's true, but it's also not true, because a lot of parents, I think they increase the resistance by getting angry, and I'm guilty of that. I get frustrated. Often if I take a step back, look at things from a different perspective and think, hang on a minute, how can I motivate my kids to do this task or that task? Make it fun, make it seem like a challenge or a wee bit of a competition, and before you know it, they're cleaning the whole house for you. It's like free labour. Do you know what I mean? Don't tell anybody that I said that, but that's basically what it is. Sorry, I had to put a wee edit in there because my wife decided to come and interrupt me because apparently my telepathic signal to let her know that I was filming tonight didn't work, so I thought she was going to just read my mind, and well, I guess it doesn't work that way. I probably should have told her that I decided to film. So, where were we? Oh, that's right. Kids are very, very, very adaptable, and I've been finding more and more that I can kind of recruit them to help me with stuff around the house, and they want to help. You know, they want to help. All too often it seems like you're like, no, it's okay, I'll just do it, don't worry about it. And then it's like, nah, you do it. Put your dirty dishes in the sink, put them in the dishwasher, you know, throw out the rubbish bags, garbage bags. That's another thing that I find daily, we joke about all the time, is the language that I use. Garbage. Like, I say garbage all the time. I say garbage truck instead of rubbish truck all the time now. And then I'll switch back and forth between them. I'll tell somebody they need to go to the trunk, get something out of the trunk of my car. Trunk, instead of the boot of my car. Yeah, it's really, I don't know, I didn't feel like I had to do this in New Zealand so much, a wee bit, but not so much. And you could kind of use both words there for a lot of this stuff, and they understand just fine. They're a bit more flexible, probably because there's quite a lot more recent immigrants there. But here in Canada, they look at you funny if you don't say garbage. If you say rubbish, you know, they'll look at you a wee bit funny, which I don't care. I don't mind being looked at funny at all, but it adds up every day with all the other stuff you say. So, but yeah, I might have to do a video on all the different words that I have to use now. And also I realised that there's one that I say in a Scottish thing that I say all the time, which I don't think I've ever included in any of my videos that deal with talking Scottish. Although that may be because I don't have as many of those videos as I think I do. But anyway, the one that I wanted to tell you, and I'm going to drop it into this video purely at random. Sorry about that truck. I don't know why I'm apologising. It's not my truck. Somebody else's truck. They should be apologising. Anyway, the one that I always say is the morn, as in tomorrow. And I think you might like this. So, in Scots dialect, tomorrow is the morn. The morn. And tomorrow morning is the morn's morn. The morn's morn. Have I put that in a video before? Have I told you that one before? Maybe I have. I'm getting senile. Getting a wee bit old. See, that's another thing that happens, I'll tell you. See, when you get to like 39, 40, honestly, it's like a whole bunch of switches inside your brain and your body just gets turned off. They're like, right, that's you old now. Let's start making sure that it gets a wee bit more confused, because he's at 40 now. So, and see those knees, right? Let's reduce the knee integrity by 20%, and see the arms there, or his shoulders. Aye, let's mess them up and all. Let's just knacker the shoulders a wee bit by, I don't know, 30%. That, honestly, I feel like that's kind of what's happened for me. But then again, I have never been one of those people who I don't think I've ever really been taught diet and exercise as these important things. I don't know what happened. Either I did get taught them or I just didn't listen, or I just didn't get taught them. It's like my generation got missed or something. See all my pals, especially in ASMR, you know, posting stuff that they're going to the gym and all that, and I'm like, wow, you actually enjoy going to the gym. That is awesome, and also completely confusing to me. But that's what happens. That's where it goes. And I've gone to the gym, and I've tried, and I've failed. I did, for a couple of years in New Zealand, spend an amazing amount of money, but it was worth it. It was $70 a week or every 2 weeks, which is a lot of money. To me anyway, it was a huge amount of money, on a personal trainer. And he was amazing. I definitely recommend that if you can afford it. It's not cheap. I would recommend that over a gym membership any day of the week if you're like me and you really struggle to keep the consistency going with that sort of stuff, right? The reason why, and if this applies to you, you'll know why. If you're somebody who's good at keeping appointments and you don't want to let other people down, they expect you to be there, you know, to meet them at a certain time on a certain day. If you're the type of person who is never late, always shows up, and you know you feel bad if you let them down, a personal trainer is what you want, because you use that to your advantage. And I, for 2 years, went to my trainer for just once a week for 2 years, and it was honestly brilliant. I was at my largest, and I'll let you work this out in Imperial for those of you who don't do metric. I was 117 kilograms, which was a lot. Actually, you know what? If it's not too much trouble, I'm going to do it right now while I'm filming. KG2LB. I was 117, which was 258 pounds, which in stone would be 18.5 stone. Alright, I went to the personal trainer and I got down to 102 kilograms, which was 16 stone, which works out to be 224 pounds, 25 pounds. And then I actually went even lower than that. But this pandemic has caused me to put on a bit more weight. So I'm sitting at about 100, I think I'm about 102 now actually. 101, 102, which is about 222 pounds. Ideally I'll get back down to where I was, which was 97, which is 213, 214 pounds, or 15.2 stone, which I think is still pretty big, but I'm about 6 feet, slightly under 6 feet I think. Yeah, so I feel like that's a good weight for me. That's a good weight for the old dad bod, you know what I mean? So yeah, did I get onto this topic? I have no idea. Anyway, I'm thinking this is probably pretty good for a nonsensical ramble to hopefully get you off to sleep. I hope you're lying there right now in your bed or wherever it is with your earphones in, and you are starting to just drift off to sleep after listening to the rambles of some guy on the internet. We all need sleep, and after I finish recording this video, I will be joining you. Maybe not physically, but I will be in bed listening to some ASMR or watching something. I actually find visual triggers to put me to sleep a lot quicker than audio triggers. So, all depends on what mood I'm in. And actually, the last thing I'll ramble about, I finally, at the recommendation of my good friend Grace's Grove ASMR, bought myself some Bluetooth earbuds. I always thought they'd be kind of crappy, you'd have to recharge them all the time and all that, and I never really bothered. Anyway, I got some for $30, and so far they are amazing. A little bit bulky, the ones I got. They have the bit that kind of sticks down. I'll show them to you in a video, see what you think. Maybe in the next video. But yeah, they've been a big help. Oh my god, not having to worry about all those tangles, cables, anymore is a real godsend, especially for listening to ASMR at night time, okay? So, yeah, I'd highly recommend those. I don't know if, well, I don't know how long they'll last, but they sound great, and they're nice and easy to pair to the phone, so I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're relaxed, a wee bit more relaxed at the end of this video, if you're still with me, than you are at the beginning of the video. I know that a lot of people click away long before the end, but if you're still listening to this now, that tells me that you really do support and like my stuff, and that means a great deal. It really does. Not so much for these kind of ramble videos and that, but the ones when I do the role plays and the bit more complex ones, scripted videos, and the ones that take a bit more blood and sweat to put out. Yeah, thank you for that. And I actually want to say a big thank you to all my patrons as well. You've been amazing supporters the whole time, but especially recently. I've had a lot of really great messages and comments over there on a lot of the extra videos I've been making, especially the vlogs and stuff like that. So thank you for sticking with me and watching my stuff and supporting me. It's super, super nice. So I'm gonna leave you to it. I think there might be a wee bug in my window, so I'm gonna just go and leave you, and I'm gonna leave that bug to do what it wants to do before it starts banging on the window trying to get in on the video for its 15 minutes fame. Sleep well, take care, and I'll see you later.